I don't know. I was like maybe like 12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all never played booty tag? Y'all never heard of booty tag?
Nobody was tagging my booty, or at least not a group of them.
Welcome back to another episode of My Wildlife with Sincear. I'm your host, of course, Sincear. And today I have basically my real first guest. I did have my wife as my first guest, but this is my like first guest outside of like my immediate kind of like family, even though she is still family. So my guest that I have here with you today is actually my wife's sister. Um, she's a mom, of course. She's a wife as well, a sister, friend, um, amazing person all around. I want to introduce everybody to Azure.
Hey, y'all. This is weird.
So, of course, thank you for coming and doing this, taking time out of your schedule, just to pop in and do this for me, of course.
Yes, happy to be in the room. Outside my comfort zone for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of like the main point of me wanting to do this is to get people out of their like zone and, to talk about just their lives in general. I feel like we've all had lives, whether they're important to other people or not. I think they're all important. So I want to hear everyone's story. Because I know my stories are wild. So if my story is wild, then I want to hear everyone else's. So I'll start off with how long I've known you. I think that's important because for me and Kalima, of course, we've known each other for years, but I don't really know you. So this is really like the real first episode that I'm shooting, even though I'm not sure if I'm gonna put this one up next, but this is the first episode that I'm shooting with someone who I just don't know. I'm really getting to know you. So I've known you now maybe, I wouldn't say 4.
It's more than 4. I think it's 6 because that was 2018. Came from Thanksgiving. I think.
Was it?
Okay.
2019?
That makes sense. 5 years. Okay.
Okay, 5 years. All right. Yeah, so not a long time, but not a short time either.
Right.
But of course I know of you. I don't know you. So of course we're gonna start from the beginning and go from there.
Okay.
Once again, like I said, I want to shout out one of my coworkers, Ash, who laughed at this part when I said it to Kalima. I was like, so we black people, but we black people. And sometimes the things we do have meaning. So of course I want to ask you, how'd you get your name? Like who named you and does it have a meaning?
Each of my parents gives me a different version of this story. Mm-hmm. So, trying to think. I think it was definitely my mother's choice. Remember, I'm high, whatever. Right. I'm pretty sure it was my mother's choice, but you speak to my father, and I'm sure he had the grandest idea in the world, and he said it to her 28,000 months ago. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't remember. But my name actually means blue. Mm-hmm. Azul, for quick reference.
Right.
It is in the dictionary.
What language is it? French for blue?
English.
Is English for
English.
blue?
It is in the Oxford Dictionary.
Blue in English?
Sky blue.
Wow.
You like the color?
I thought it was like French because I know yes. French is close to that.
Right. No E.
Right.
In French. Yep. So all of those 5 Romance languages, they're gonna sound or at least be spelled very similar. Mm-hmm. But same concept. All languages. Blue. Sure. You're welcome.
All right. So. Okay, when you were a kid, did you have any imaginary friends?
I feel like I had a whole gang of imaginary friends, and they swapped out week to
So
week,
weird.
day to day. Like we were a gang, and again, just depending on what the situation was, depending on how I was feeling, depended on
Hmm.
who stepped up. It almost
Did you
feels
have
like
a favorite one of those imaginary friends?
I feel like I did, but I don't remember what their name was.
Mm.
Did
But
I
it,
express that to you? Tell you about my imaginary?
um,
And it sucks because a lot of those imaginary
imaginary
friend years I
friends.
didn't necessarily spend with her. So maybe that's part of it.
This never kind of because Kalima said her imaginary friend was Robin.
Yes.
Were your imaginary friends people? Were they animals? Were they?
A combination thereof. I mean, some were fairies, some were
Oh.
tigers, some were, other little kids.
Mm.
There was this weird tall guy. He was cool. He kept his coat on and his hat
Like
turned to
just
the
get a
side.
weird tall
That
guy.
was my homie.
Right.
Yeah, like
Hanging out with Slender Man.
he just chilled in the back. And
I
if
did
shit
not
got
have any
wavy, like he
imaginary
jumped in.
friends.
I don't know.
I didn't have imaginary friends. It's like as much as my brain is always going and as creative as it is, I
But
did
you
not
do
have
have like
I did not
an inner
have
dialogue at least.
yeah all the time.
Okay.
Please. Um,
Who do you
um
seek expert advice from if you don't?
no, yeah, always,
Very cool.
always. Did you have a favorite toy?
Mm. No, because I was a pet kid.
Mm.
So there was always a pet around where even if there was a toy that I was really, really rocking with, like I was rocking with my cat harder.
What
And now I rock with
about
my cat harder in a different way, but whatever.
was there a toy that you wanted but you got it?
Yes, a Millennium Barbie and a Furby.
Okay. Furbies?
Oh, little
I
girl.
think I ain't like Furby. I think I was scared of them or something like that when I was a kid. Yeah, it was
Now
too
that I,
weird.
now that you think back at them, yeah, they were kind of creepy looking, but I was a
Yeah.
little girl and everybody else had one. So,
What's your earliest childhood memory?
um, it was one of my birthday parties, maybe the one that we had at McDonald's, and I remember the ball pit. I remember my dad picking me up and me like reaching for something above me. Maybe it was like the ceiling or the ceiling fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember cake. That's it. I don't remember anything about the cake or
What
anything,
age
but I
did
remember
you
that's
say
what
it
it
was?
was. No
I don't
idea.
know.
It felt like 4,
Okay.
but I don't know for sure.
Man. Okay. Um, when you was a kid, what was something that you seen at someone else's house that you was like, ooh, they got money? Like,
Mm, I don't know. I don't feel like I've ever really thought of that. I don't think of the world that way.
mm-hmm.
Damn.
So you just see it, you just like that's
Maybe
nice.
not even at anybody else's house, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, in Clueless, Claire's spinning closet thing. I was like, yeah, I
That's
need
it.
that shit in my life. That's the one. Yeah,
Nah,
like
we was kind of poor, so I think anything I seen at anyone's house was like they rich. Like like if I would have walked into even be living in this house that we live in now, and we're not rich, trust me.
Word.
Um, if I would have walked into this house when I was a kid, I probably had to pass down. Like, this is possible. See, so all right, we're gonna get ready to move from kid you to teenage you. But what advice would you give
Hey.
the kid version of you?
The kid version of me.
Mhm.
Um, Keep adventuring. Like, don't let that go ever. Because I was an outside kid and everything, swinging dead squirrels and playing kickball and exploring the neighborhood and digging in the dirt. And
Mhm.
I had no concept of, oh, you're a little girl, you're not supposed to do that. Like, I
Right.
was everywhere doing everything,
Mhm.
and I was enjoying life. Like, I'm just happy to be here. Everything's great. Everything's awesome. cool when you're part of a team all the time.
All right. Let's see. What high school did you go to?
I went to a few of them. I started in John Brown High School, and it was cool because,
That's in
in Queens,
Brooklyn, Queens. Okay.
all of my friends from the neighborhood were there with me. So it was like, boom, middle school
Mm,
2.0. That was the first time I had ever really experienced that because we moved around a lot.
mm,
Um, so I got to actually transition schools with people for the first time. But that didn't work out. I started skipping school, and it literally was to the point they used to do
mm,
attendance in two periods. So third period and 10th period counted as your official attendance for the day. Each class took its own attendance, but those were the ones that counted. So I would
mm.
leave the
I remember
house
that.
at regular school
I
start
think I
time.
think I was first period.
Um, I wouldn't even get to the school until third period started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd walk in with everybody else. I'd take my attendance. That was my biology class. And thank goodness I was making it to that for a while. Because I think I went just enough
Mm-hmm.
that I could stop going and they would still
Right.
pass
They
me.
still give you a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Been
was
there.
going to that. I'd leave. I'd go to my boyfriend's house. We chill, whatever. Or I'd just wander the neighborhood, or I'd be at the library, which why the librarians were like, why you not in school?
Right.
Whatever. But I'd be at the library. I'd be all over the place. And then I had a Metro card. So I was out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what you mean I get, what, 3 swipes a day? Was all over the city. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down on Chelsea Pier. I'd be in Central Park. I'd be up at the Botanical Gardens, or even the ones in Brooklyn. Like,
This is what I know it was teenager, but what grade was? I
that
mean,
was
it's
like
high school. So which? Yeah.
that was
Which?
seventh. No, high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I started high school ninth grade, ninth, and I was only at Bound in ninth grade. But I was all over the place, and
That was 1 year.
I think I
That was the
left.
first year there. Like what?
Yeah, like again, all of my friends from the neighborhood were already there, which means the people
Mm-hmm.
who graduated the year before me were already sophomores at that point. So
Okay.
I had friends, they already had a system going, and I just integrated, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So I'd be everywhere. And then I was only in Bound until maybe like February. And I moved upstate with my mom. Um, that was Columbia High School. I got there the year after a school shooting.
Mm-mm.
So, and then I was new and I was black in a town that has maybe 47 black people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
That's a
right
small
outside of
town.
Albany. It's called East Greenbush, New York. And I lived in North Greenbush, so there were even less black people up there. Um, I did that for I was there till till my senior year. Um, and I think I had rehabilitated my ways from Bound. Not completely, but for the most part. I was doing okay, but I wasn't going to gym. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. I found a nice spot to hide, like up on the top floor.
You
And
didn't need that class to pass to, I guess, graduate.
yeah, no, it was still during those, if you passed the regents and you
Mm-hmm.
scrape by on the class, you could still pass type of
Mm-hmm.
things. And I was killing the regents. I think I got the top score on the French regents that year
Mm-hmm.
in the state, not just at my school. Um,
Okay.
Regents was never the problem. The only one I failed, the whole rest, again, same thing. Like, I think like 75% of the kids in the state failed, so they just passed us.
Oh shit.
Hashtag no child left behind. Thanks, Bush. Um,
Do they even still do regents in New York? No, right? Yeah. I remember I had to do regents as well. Um,
classes I didn't even go to, I was
where
passing.
did you go? You went somewhere after that one?
I did. I had moved back to New York City at that point, so I was going to one of them alternative high schools because I wasn't passing gym, and it was down there by Delancey, but it wasn't the one she went to.
Mm,
So that was Cascades High School, and that was a formative experience for me. I discovered that I love painting.
okay.
I mean, my last painting experience had been like finger painting in my kindergarten or something like that. So
Mm,
I wasn't really doing this recreationally, more coloring than anything. But it worked out because I was failing gym and English. I'm an insufferable grammar Nazi, and I failed English literally from, I want to say, elementary school all the way through college. Like,
So how you how you judging people?
because it's not that I'm not good at it; it's that it's boring.
It is.
That's not the problem. And if anything, now my grammar sucks because I have to assimilate with the rest of the world whose grammar sucks, or I'll go insane.
I don't. For me, grammar, especially when I'm on like social media, I just whatever. I
Yeah.
don't care. It's not that serious. Um, all right.
But my best friend has told me that when I punctuate, I spark her anxiety even. So I rein that shit in.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because it's official, and we
No.
are
Why is it spark? Why does it spark her anxiety?
for anxiety because it's very official and we are so informal with each other. The things that I say to her are obnoxious at the least. So we're the best friends for. But yeah, so I went to Cascades and the English teacher there, Sam Raganath, he allowed us to use alternative forms of submitting papers. I didn't have to write a 5-page essay. I could paint something to display my understanding of the story, or I could write
like that, right?
Yeah, like
what?
That was.
You seen the TikTok with the thing was like do a 15-second dance or a 5,000 word paper?
Yeah, and that was the kind of stuff that he would let us do, because it was more about comprehension than okay, well, can you write this ridiculous paper? Somebody is going to teach you how to write a paper. It might even get to a point, and congratulations, we're already there. You don't even have to write a paper yourself. Yeah, like you don't even have to do that anymore. But if you like to write, he would encourage you to do it. But if writing wasn't your medium, then give it to me in your medium. And that me was a formative experience because I'd never gotten an experience like that. And if I had gone to traditional schools all the way through, I wouldn't have. I would have taxed that. Right. Had I had that option. So it was a school that very much encouraged creativity.
Do it the way that your own creative vices.
Yeah. So I mean, I was always in clubs and after school programs and stuff like that throughout my high school career. But there, we did a theater production for one. I forgot what class it was. It might have even been a social studies. Um, but we did a theater production. We did a play about. It's one of those real important teenager books that I forgot the name of, but it's about this boy like they're like at some camp or something. But anyway, he ends up cutting himself and eventually killing himself.
I wish I could tell you I knew what book you were talking about.
I would have to go back and look.
No, you know what's funny?
I remember To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah. I remember
Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, he did that too.
Great Gatsby. I never read any of those books. I swear to God, I've never read one page of any of those books. And English was my favorite major. I always passed it, but I always made up work. I never read. They were always so boring to me.
Yes, the American classics.
I never read those books. Like anytime the teacher was like, if we could make up the work, I would basically almost damn near fail on purpose so I could just do the makeup work because those books were just what are we reading? Like I hated that kind of.
I would do everything.
I read every single one.
I would do everything I could not to have to read those. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was only Columbia where I was really required, and I would literally ask like, "Is there something else I can read instead?" Because all of those signature American classic books that everybody reads growing up in school, I hated them. They were so boring. Yeah, and I cannot force myself through a book.
What grade was that? I think it was eighth going to ninth grade. I didn't graduate because I had failed English and went to summer school for it because I had a whole packet that she had me do because I just was not. I was like, I can't read those books. It was boring as shit. I passed it. No, I passed English any other time, but anytime it was those reports.
You the only black person I've ever heard say that shit.
Yeah, I loved English. That was English and for me. Math up until we got to pre-calculus. Well, they called it Math B, I think it was. Yeah, no, I can. After that, I've listened.
Yeah, scammed on Math B. It was some bullshit, but whatever.
All right. So he went to like what 3 high schools. Were you popular at any of them?
Absolutely not. And I would never want to be. The most popular I was is Inbound because again, these were people that I was already hanging out with, and there was a fairly large group of us. Um, but in Columbia, I don't know. I kind of everybody knew of me, but I, Lola and Kalisha and
Right, because that's when you was staying with me.
Mhm.
Okay, right, and we I ended up having
yeah,
something with a stroller
roll up on a
and
bitch.
roll up on a high school kid.
That was while we were still in middle school, actually.
That was middle school.
Yeah, I think that was while we were still in 7th grade. We had, mind you, that point we had just really moved to the neighborhood. I had only been around for a few months, and
That's right.
yes, because again, this is an already established group of people who have lived in this neighborhood for years and years and years, and they went to elementary school and middle school together. Um, they were, it could be a little cliquish. And there was this one girl, she didn't like me, and she didn't like me because her boyfriend liked me, and her boyfriend eventually became my boyfriend. And
All right. I mean,
but I didn't know nothing about her.
so she got reasons.
I'm saying. No, I didn't know anything about her. According to him, they had broken up before I even got there. She was just hating because she wanted him back, supposedly. I wasn't there to corroborate.
So he didn't really break up with her.
Basically. I don't know what he did and didn't do. Okay. I know what I was told, and that's it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And it was just as a surprise to me as it was to her that some other girl like that was friends with my friend brought that bitch to my house. Mm-mm. And of course, I never had to fight. I have an older sister who does all the fighting. Like, even if I needed to, like, she was going to do it for me anyway. Even if I was like, nah, I got this, she was like, all right, go ahead, whip her ass, but I'm still going to jump her after. Like, so I didn't have to do any of that. So the girl comes to my house. She sees me open the door. She goes, who's that? And I go, some girl talk about she wants to fight me. She goes, what are you talking about? She goes and grabs a damn knife. And she goes out there and she grabs the other chick. And she's like, if you ever bring this bitch back to my house again, how you going to bring somebody to my house to fight my sister? Waving the knife in the girl's face, da 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 da. Listen, that's my sister. Right. So they disappear, whatever. And she told her, she was like, next time I see you, I'm whooping your ass. And she saw her, so.
No, that was what's her name? Alex came and was like, oh, I see her. She's standing on such and such block, whatever.
Yes, so Alex had arranged for somebody to distract her and keep her where she was at so Kalima could run down on her.
But Malcolm in the stroller.
Ratch. Do you miss high school?
No, absolutely not. I miss Cascades, but that's it. And I don't even miss the school part of it. I really just miss being able to sit there and paint all day.
Yeah, I think that's what I miss about high school as well. I went to a secondary school. It was Watley Secondary School for Performing Arts.
It's the middle school building. Watley is downstairs.
Okay.
But we had a different a whole bunch of like art programs. We had this like video. We made a whole music video to Get Crunk Music, the Dipsons. I think I was like Joel Santana or something like that. One of my friends, well, we were friends at the time. This kid named Donovan, he had it on VHS. He might actually still have the tape. So in the event that I ever become anything and y'all see a VHS or a tape of me with braids, because I remember it, rapping like Joel Santana to Get Crunk Music. And
I'm gonna have to require a VCR and scour the radio show.
His name is Donovan. He was in it as well. It was me, Donovan, and some other kid, because it was 3 people in the song. I can't remember who the other person was, but
it's like How I Met Your Mother with Barney Howell. Tapes of Robin.
That would be I mean, if someone was to find that tape, man, I would love to watch that shit because I know it's bad. I know it's bad, so bad. All right. Two choices, of course. You can tell me the craziest story from your teenage years that you got away with no one in your family, or none of your parents know really, or story that during your teenage years that you did get caught by your parents.
I remember we had a lot of freedom
Yeah.
Yeah.
to just do shit.
Until we realized that we wasn't that free.
Right.
Yeah.
So we did shit.
Right.
Yeah, we was out.
We the millennials that was outside and
Out.
doing
Yeah.
shit.
The current meaning of outside, that was us.
Mhm.
That was us.
We was outside.
Yeah. We was both types of outside. It was crazy. Crazy times. That I got caught.
Or you got away
Or I got away with it. Does it count if I confessed on myself later?
I don't know.
You originally got away with it and then got.
Yeah, like I ended up telling on myself.
You can tell that one.
I'll tell that one. So as I was cutting school every day on a system in ninth grade, I told you I was going to my boyfriend's house or whatever. I got pregnant. Like, and if anybody suspected, they didn't say anything to me.
Okay.
So I was like, I was 14 years old. Nobody knew. If they, and like I said, if they didn't know, they didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say anything to me. They didn't express any concern. So I kept on with my little routine, and I told my boyfriend, I was like, "Look, we're gonna have to take care of this because I'm not gonna be nobody's 14-year-old mama. Like, be fucking for real."
For real, yeah, for real though.
Yeah, almost immediately at that.
That's probably why.
Did you know this?
No.
She didn't know. At that point, she didn't know. I didn't tell her until already I was already up there.
I wouldn't have known, but that would make sense as to why she was hell bent on you coming to Albany.
Mm-hmm.
Because she asked me, I was like, listen, I just live her life. First of all, I'm not her mother. I'm her caretaker, her sister. But I'm not going to play mother role.
Right.
She thinks she gets up and goes to school. If she don't, guess what? She's making her own.
And not only that,
mommy was like, "Nah, I think she got to go."
My thing is, it's not like she had to go run in the neighborhood looking for me.
Unfair of her to like kind of leave her with you and then try to parent her from afar.
We had a family discussion, and we collectively told mommy to go.
Right.
But we know our mother very well, and mommy needs when she needs to go, she needs to go. It's going to be able to do.
It's what's best for everybody in the situation because if she doesn't go, it's hell for all of us. You know what I'm saying?
She did spend her entire, would say, 20s and 30s raising us. Because she had me at 21, so she didn't date like I remember some of her dating. That happened while we were kids.
We were already alive.
Azure was middle school, high school. It was like she wanted to go to Albany. She had a job offer. She met somebody. It was like, go buy and go. And she said, well, what about Azure? I got Azure.
And that's how it had been since she came back to live with us from when she was at her father's house. Like, because mom was working.
Yeah. But then when mommy was like, well, what? She living her life. I mean, what do you want me to do? Oh, no, I have to micromanage. I don't have time.
Right. No, the scheme was real.
Child.
Right.
The scheme was real.
Right, and you had a child of your own too, so yeah, that's not.
The scheme was in high school. Nobody micromanaged me when I was in high school.
And not only that, but like you know how you skip school, like they usually call.
Mm-hmm. Like they was calling.
I had them switch all the papers. We've been forging mommy's signature since I was at least 7. So at that point, like she wasn't around to verify it, and even then, I had changed all the contact information to my cell phone. So who were they calling me to tell me that I wasn't in school? I know I wasn't there.
Right.
But she came home on time.
Yep, I never came home late.
Time. She came home on time. There was no issue. There was no major issue. She was safe. She was fed, taken care of. She went to the doctor. All the things that were supposed to happen. But as far as mothering her, I wasn't gonna do it. That's not the kind of relationship we had anyway. I was more of a protector and caretaker. I wasn't going to be her mother. I was like, so if you want to micromanage how she's doing in high school, you're gonna have to do that. Right. But it was one of those also, you ain't do that to me, so
why start now? And if anything, if she had tried, I probably would have bucked at it because you didn't do that to her. So why am I getting this treatment all of a sudden? You know, I wasn't very much the pushback kid. For the most part, I went along with whatever it was my mother expected. And that's probably why in high school in particular, I was like, fuck all of this. And I was doing whatever the hell I wanted to do because I was tired of being a good kid. You know?
Yeah. I definitely know what that's like with my family. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like
every child, depending on your role or place or number, everyone has a certain expectation. I was the oldest child. That expectation is crazy. I am
because you're second parent.
I am the parent child. That's much like
you should come sit around here just in case I can't. I said you should come sit around.
Just much like Generation X, where they're like, oh well, you know, we was the parents and we raised up. Yeah, so does millennials. That's basically what I did. So as an oldest child, it's just like I gotta be everything to everybody. I don't know what it's like to be a youngest child. I don't know what it's like to be a middle child. But that expectation,
yeah, I hate that. The perfect child expectation.
Well, and it's like as soon as you're disappointed with one, or maybe not even disappointed in your case, but as soon as you're not happy with the behavior of one, all of that responsibility from the first one also shifts to the next one and the next one and the next one. And it's like, be for real. Like you're expecting something that you couldn't even produce. You know, you want me to be perfect, but you've been yourself.
Right.
Whether it was good, whether it was raggedy, whether it was whatever, you got to figure your shit out. But I had to model perfect behavior. It's crazy.
That generation, that plays into that generation we got. Those, especially those boomer parents who expected you to be great and be fulfilling for some reason. And then when you did it, it was almost like, okay, well,
all right, who's next?
Right, maybe the next one. So you had that burden, and then I had the burden of watching her expect you to be what I guess I was supposed to be.
Right. So that's a double whammy.
Necessarily the fuck up.
You didn't do it the way that she was expecting. Is really it.
I was figuring out life every step of the way. So nobody stopped to teach us anything. I literally had to just figure it out. So I ended up figuring my way out to a child, then figuring out my way up to this and to that. And it was just like, but watching it. And then it's like, okay, now as the oldest child, you're watching the expectation of the youngest child.
Knowing that it's impossible though. And that's I would imagine, because again, I've never been an oldest child.
And then second borns, y'all no limit soldiers.
We don't give a fuck about nothing, all right? We done already been through a used coochie.
Not used.
You know what I'm saying? Already been through a used coochie. Somebody already marked up the walls on the way out. We watching the cave paintings go by. Like we getting hand-me-downs.
And watching our fresh.
We are getting hand-me-downs.
Yeah, because okay, just because that first one that you had wasn't like this, well, right. I'm sorry that they caught
too. Trust me.
I'm sorry. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You got fooled 2 times. That's on you, homie. I can't help you. Like,
yeah, you know, I really do kind of hate that. Like I said, that whole perfect child thing, because that's how it was. Like I was just talking about my sister in that little short, but
yeah,
and she is pretty messed up in the head, but a lot of it comes from my family and my grandmother. Want her to be perfect. And I think we all kind of knew from jump my sister was going to be a gay female. And I think with my grandmother being as Christian as she was, that shit did not roll over well for her. So they expected me to be like the perfect kid. And in a lot of ways, they still think I am, especially when I call them now and they're like, oh my God, you're doing this, you're doing that.
The bar is lower for you because you're a boy, though. I hope you know that.
Oh, I don't.
It's true.
Because it's only me and my sister, so I don't have no one else to compare it to. And she's my older sister, so. like I said on my that Facebook page, my Facebook post, I don't know what it's like to be like for someone to say you're not the baby anymore. Not that I felt like I was ever baby, because honestly, I really do feel like my sister might see it one way where she thinks that I got this special treatment, but I never felt like that. I never felt like I had special treatment or
never really was treated as though I was special.
right.
I was that other kid.
Right.
And I was getting dumped off on the first kid most of the time. So
right, I was being raised by this because I definitely didn't feel special.
Which is crazy because as the old, much like his sister as the oldest child, it's like, well, why are they special? Why they get the extra attention? Why? And that was the rift for me growing up between me and mommy. Like because she treated you like you were this extra special, amazing.
As far as I knew, she was doing the same for you.
Why? I didn't learn until we had that inevitable discussion when I was an adult as to what really was going on. It took my entire childhood of watching. So she's just like, much like, remember I had said about Miles and Sarai. Why is she the golden child and he's not? You know what I'm saying? So I watched that and it was just like, well, why is she so special? Like, hey, I'm here too, but at the same time, me, I'm just gonna just keep on.
Now you see why I only have one kid. I fulfilled my biological obligations to procreate, and I don't want to put her through that. All of the resources go to her. All of the love goes to her. All of the attention goes to her. Everything she wants. There's nothing that she asks for that she doesn't actually get.
I ended up with multiple kids. And you saw how I treated my moms. You couldn't tell me they were twins.
Right.
Because everything.
If one had it, the other had
one got something.
And if it was only one, y'all had to share it.
Right. I never left them out. Why? Because, again, much like I said before, it was like a lot of, if I learned about myself, trauma and therapy, I would have learned. I wouldn't have made those certain responses. I wouldn't have treated them much like they were the same kid or something, as opposed to enjoying them individually.
And isn't
because
that
I was
ironic?
too busy, like, well, I was never the special kid. I'm never gonna treat my kids like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
It's ironic that again, we are both raising families, running from what position we grew up in, because I mean, look, she was a single mom. She was doing the best she could. And in your case, you at least had another parent to at least supplement with care. But she was my only parent. So.
And that was why.
Exactly.
When I learned, it was like, she was like, because I was her only parent, you met her, and it was like,
right.
But meanwhile, I was salty.
She had to play two roles for me, whereas for you, you at least had that person there, regardless to whatever it was like for you or for her, So, and mine was just being himself.
Okay. So that was the kind of last thing for teenage you, but of course, before we move on, we got to get any advice you would give teenage you.
Yeah, don't let that boy knock you up, stupid. Like, get your shit together, fuck.
The 14?
Yeah, don't let that boy knock you up. And open your mouth. Don't take nothing from anybody. If you don't like it, if it makes you even a little bit uncomfortable, get yourself up out of that situation because nobody's coming to save you. Right. And I think I spent too much time waiting for somebody to finally look and be like, hey, I actually need fucking help over here, Like, and that's a lot. Khalim, I give you a lot of credit because I didn't expect that from you. You weren't my parent. So it wasn't your responsibility to jump up and help me because I'm pregnant or jump up and help me because I need homework or jump up and help me because I need it, blah, blah, blah. You're a child, just like I'm a child. So I wasn't expecting you to look back and be like, oh, damn, my sister needs help. Let me do something. It was parental. And one couldn't get it together enough to even qualify to be a parent. The other one, she was trying to figure herself out and raise another child as well. It's not that there's not a good reason, but I still needed what I needed.
All right. Do you hold grudges? And is there a silly grudge that you are holding that you just won't let go of?
I only hold grudges against my husband. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I only hold grudges against my
That
husband.
poor
Everybody
man. That
else,
poor man.
I know. I'll be putting Trevor through it. I'm so sorry. But
That poor man. Is it one that you just a silly one that you just won't let go of, or that you want to say? Or?
mm, there was a girl in my fourth grade class, and she stole my pen. You know them clicky ones that had all the
Mm-hmm.
colors on it. She stole my shit. Tried to act like she bought it from the little book
Mm-hmm.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bitch, no, you didn't, because I was right there. I seen how many they had left. Like, yeah,
Right,
yo.
right. That's
She
definitely
stole
a
my
grudge, boy. Cause
she
what?
stole
I don't
my
even remember
shit.
what I was doing in fourth grade.
Nah,
Like,
she took my shit
I don't
and
remember
tried
one
to.
sentence, one fucking.
My thing is, again, I'm a non-confrontational kid. I don't rock the boat. I do what I'm told, blah blah blah. But I know that you had my pen, and you gonna lie to my face about my pen? Nah, bitch, we scrapping. Fuck you.
Damn, I think I just might have unlocked a memory from fourth grade. I remember when I was in fourth grade. I don't know why I did this, but when I think of my children, it makes sense now. I remember I threw like a block or something like that at this like kid. I don't know why I threw this block at this kid, but I think the kid threw a block back and it hit me in like the head, and my head was like fucking bleeding or some dumb shit. I don't know why I did that as a kid. Kids just do.
You just rocking people with blocks.
I was very violent as a child. No, I was a foster kid, so I was also very angry as a child. But because I didn't understand anything. Um, let's see. Those friends that you did have in those three high school, from your childhood and teenage years, actually, are you still friends with them?
I'm still acquaintances with a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I am still friends with my best friend from seventh grade, though.
Okay.
It's my road dog right there.
All right. We're gonna move on a little bit now from teenage years. What is the most fun you had in your 20s?
Being a strip club DJ.
Okay.
Yeah,
What was
that
that?
was
How'd you get that? What was that like?
that was an accident. We were there for a party.
Like,
We were actually guests at a friend's party. And again, because we were regulars there at that point, they was like, oh well, so and so he's in the bathroom or she's in the bathroom. I couldn't even remember who the
actual DJ.
actual DJ
Mm-hmm.
was, but they was like, can you just cover this for us? It's like it's just songs on the computer, like just play whatever you want. Man, I played some shit, and them girls was throwing ass, and I'm throwing ass, and we just playing songs, and everybody's throwing money, and that was just the most fun I'd ever had at the strip club. And again, all of these girls do
It was just
acid.
one night, or did they like
So
hire
it was
you?
that
Or
one night,
oh,
but I would do it like again whenever that person was not
okay.
around, or they needed to step away, or they just wasn't coming in that night. Like if I was there, put me on the ones and twos. I wasn't mixing anything, but I wasn't mixing anything. But I was having the time of my life back there, just picking songs for these girls. Oh, ass too. That was my favorite.
All right. Because I'm going to interview multiple people, I still am going to keep this question, and I'm still going to ask this question. What do you think? I guess dating was like back then versus now.
Dating.
Mm-hmm. I know you're married and everything, but
Yeah, and I've been with
what
him since I was
idea
18 years old.
what idea do you have of dating back then versus now, I guess?
I mean, I feel like now, you have maybe easier access to people,
Mm-hmm.
but that's also the problem,
Yeah.
Whereas before, like, you had to see a girl out or something like that and, walk up to her, actually speak to her,
Mm-hmm.
make it past her friends,
Right.
like all that kind of stuff. That was,
Right.
yeah,
It
you
was
actually had to
layers
have
to it.
balls back
Yeah,
then
it
when
was
you was a
layers to
dude,
it.
like,
Yeah.
or even chicks, like, coming up to you, like, especially back then, if as
Mm-hmm.
a woman walking up to another woman, like, first of all, you already knew people were going to look at you crazy because people were looking at, oh, people from the Rainbow
Mm-hmm.
Mafia crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, whereas now, again, you can literally order it like it's DoorDash, you know? Dick dash.
Yeah, for real.
So,
all right. What are your friendships like now? Like, kind of
there's
friendship
people that I fuck with heavy. Like, I go so hard for my two friends. And the rest of them people, it's like y'all cool or whatever. I still do anything for you if you call me, you need me. But like I'm very selective with my energy because one thing about being an adventurous kid is you end up in some situations, you know, and people that you think are your friends.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm.
Who would you say are your best friends?
The girl that I've been friends with her since seventh grade, that's Kylisha. I met her in the lunchroom. She was sitting adjacent to some other people that I knew, you know, like my regular hangout crew. And I hadn't seen her before. So I walked right up to her and I couldn't find anything else to say to her. So I looked and I was like, yo, why your titties so big?
Okay.
And that was
how we making friends. Like
that was the start of our friendship. She'd been here for 20 years now. We was in seventh grade. She had D cups already. Like
not in seventh grade.
Yeah. She was a grown woman
Right. I had some questions, so she had no answer. But
right, because I mean, what's she supposed to say to that?
We've been friends ever since. So clearly, I'm good at icebreakers.
My mama gave my guess. Right, and
right.
DNA. All right.
And then also Connie,
ahead,
she's my other best friend. I met her through work, so you know we trauma bonded over that. But
right.
Since then, I mean, we've developed a very, very beautiful friendship. She's one of the people that I choose to be more emotionally intelligent for.
Is that the one you was talking to on the phone?
Yeah, that was supposed to go on the Jamaica trip with us. Yeah, that's my people's. Okay.
All right. What do you do for fun or to relax now?
I partake in the devil's lettuce.
Right. We be smoking.
Yeah. You know, I read. Reading is one of my favorite things.
If you didn't get that from the Great Gatsby,
I know. I like
because it's so crazy because I write so much. I write so many things. Like it's like really crazy, but it's something about other people's work. It just depends on what it is for me. Wildly enough, I love books like The Coldest Winter Ever. You know what it is? I think I just really liked Black stories, and I know that might sound bad to some people, but it's just true. I
stuff
just
in English class is not relatable.
Yeah, it was always boring to me. Why am I reading about the Great Gatsby and his swinger parties? Like, what's...
Or like,
All right, I want to take this quick moment to say that you're going to see a break in between the last question and this because, unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, that camera stopped recording. So we did the rest of the whole episode, and it was really amazing. We're just gonna pick up from right there. So the last thing I had to ask you was what you do for fun or relax now. And I know we kind of went over this already, but what's the most important thing you learned from your parents, either singly or together?
Yeah, that one arm thing still gonna ring true from dad. I mean,
the one. What was that? Tell me that one.
So there's a giant story behind this, but just people with suspect nicknames in general. I mean, use your discernment. Like, if he has a nickname like One Arm, what could be good about it? what was positive in that situation? Tell me. Like,
because what?
Yeah, like
One arm, like
Now, the hints that I've dropped about my father throughout this little session we've done here should give you an indication of how he would end up wrapped up in a situation with somebody named One Arm.
Oh, right. And I said
because is that in reference to him and his one arm, or who he left with one arm?
Right. And then that's what made me bring up the point about my uncle randomly coming up to me and saying, don't date anyone. Like I said, I was like, I think I was like 7 max, because when we went to foster care, I was 9. So I had to be anywhere between birth and 9 years old when this grown man walked up to me and was like, don't date any woman with hairy arms. And I was like, and then he just disappeared. I don't even think I seen him again after that. Like, I've never seen that man again. And I was like, I didn't know who arms he met.
Something like, I was looking for. Like what? With hairy arms. What's the backstory?
Yeah, he didn't give no.
What are these hairy armed women doing to you that you felt the need to warn someone against them?
A child at that. Like, he had to get me at a young age to let me know now.
In your formative years.
Right.
Now he's gonna go around the room looking for all the women.
Right, my arms just.
No, I can't mess with her arm too hairy.
Yeah, can't mess with that.
You in too deep and you find out she got arm.
Man, the next question was, oh wait, that was what you learned from your father. What did you learn from your mother?
Oh man, I feel like I've had a really good answer for this that I don't.
Right.
It was keep your money right, and I say it again, like I played it halfway. I tried to put some of it back into an investment account, and the rest of it I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna go crazy with this. The go crazy money was gone within 4 months. But that investment money, you know what I'm saying, that came in clutch for me later on down the road when I was in a little situation. And I had a little dough that, I could play with, and it helped me out in a really tough spot. Whereas if I hadn't done that for myself, man, I might have been selling ass to pay rent. Like, So keep your money right and get your money right as early as possible. Don't let nobody play on your credit. Don't you play on your fucking credit. Like, as soon as you get the opportunity to build it up, build it up. And yeah, because your credit in this country, your credit is more powerful than your cash.
Okay. All right. What's what's something you loved as a kid that you wish you didn't give up on or stop doing? If you say them fucking dead squirrels again. It's something that you loved as a kid.
But I did though. Like,
go ahead, tell the people this. Tell the people this again.
Swinging the squirrels, man. Like dead squirrels. It was
swinging around dead squirrels, and I just want to know what would possess a child.
It was there. We was curious about it. Thank you. It was something that was happening outdoors. And I had watched a whole family of squirrels make a nest in between our screen door and our back door at that point. So just to experience a dead one now, oh shit, this is lit.
Okay. Like what?
You know what I'm saying? And then
I would call somebody, like, come get this. Like,
I was hanging out with little boys, so we didn't know no better. So we was picking up the squirrels and swinging them at each other. Like they was just toys.
I'm beating people with dead squirrels.
Like. Whatever's outside is a toy.
This is true.
That's the life I led.
And yeah, that's when I was like, I was outside touching the third rail and shit. I was just out there just.
You subway.
Your third rail was my dead squirrel. What was yours?
Yeah. Around that time you was swinging squirrels. That was that chat line time. I was on that chat line beating people secretly in the place.
No, the question is, what was something you did as a kid that you wish you stopped doing? But you.
I'm talking about when she.
Oh, what she was doing.
Yeah, what was her outside kid thing?
When I was a kid, we actually played like monkey bars.
Keep calling.
Park. So I did stuff like that. That was one of my favorite things. Remember the dome?
Those big domes.
Yeah, that little metal.
Yeah. I used to love going on top. That's probably the only reason I used to love climbing on top of that, and then just hanging upside down. That was my favorite thing to do. I didn't really like the parks. Like, I didn't like just going to a park and playing on the swings. And first of all, swing around.
What? I love, of course, I love the parks as a kid.
The park was lit.
Yeah.
But I did like the
The park was lit, but the park got boring once you discovered dead squirrels. Like, what am I supposed to do with these monkey bars now? There's nothing dead here.
Yeah. Nothing dead squirrels is taking
Yeah,
away
like
from the
there's no
park.
maggots
Like,
involved. Like,
yeah, no, it was funny too because I was actually pretty. I like to call myself a dirty kid. Like I was definitely in the dirt. I was in the ground. I still am like that now with them. I'll sit in the grass with them. Like when we was at your mother's house, you know, I'll sit at the I'll sit right in the grass and the dirt and with them. Okay.
manhunt.
Right. Let's go.
That
Let's
was
do
something
it.
you did outside a lot.
Oh yeah, but that's because
Y'all was playing. I'm about to say you was playing manhunt. Y'all was playing like booty tag manhunt. Like y'all was being nasty with it.
How did you even get there?
Because what you mean? Like,
Because
We talk about children.
I was talking about being in the streets. In general. Like, oh, what you mean? We was playing booty.
I mean,
we was playing like booty
manhunt evolved as you got older.
I wasn't playing manhunt by the time I was old enough to get involved. It was actual. You go hide.
We was just wilding out. I guess that's.
Who's old in here?
What you mean? What you mean? We was outside. We had no supervision.
That's why.
We was just out doing stuff.
What is booty manhunt?
It was like booty tag, but manhunt.
Booty tag.
You never played booty tag?
I don't even know what you're talking about. You had let alone.
I mean, if you infer from the name,
right? It's guess. Tag, but with your boot, you tag the booty. It was like a boy girl thing. Like it was. You was tagging. It was the boys versus the. It was the boys versus the girls. So it was.
How old did you start doing this?
I don't know. I was like maybe like 12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Hey, y'all never played booty tag? Y'all never heard of booty tag?
No.
Nobody was tagging my booty, or at least not a group of them. Well, at least
we was
not
wild. Listen,
12,
in
like,
NYC streets, we was wilding out.
I mean, all right.
Yeah, no.
No, it's just regular tag for us. I mean,
it just is.
Sometimes you might accidentally catch some booty, but like
this is what I was trying to say in our last episode with Kalima. We was talking about our like different generations, but there's like sub generations in every like generation. So we are all three of us are millennials, but we are like I think we are all three in the three different like brackets that I consider of it. I usually break them down into.
You two are at the second half.
We're in the middle part, right? Because I usually break it into 5-year increments, like
from about 84 into like 94. I think it is.
No, it's like 15 years. It's like 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so right, so it's like it's just so funny how it seems like even within the millennials we just have like different experiences. I mean, of course,
they overlap a little bit.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Nickelodeon shows, and I remember some of them. But a lot of them I only remember because you watched them. So by that point, she was watching most of those Drake and Josh. And
I didn't watch Drake and Josh. I was a Cartoon Network kid.
Yeah, I was a Cartoon Network. I didn't. We couldn't afford it.
Well, I mean,
right. Yeah, we couldn't get Nickelodeon or Disney. I didn't watch Nickelodeon or Disney.
I did. I remember all that.
Like the Mickey Mouse. Well, that's Disney though. Like, I'm trying to think what was even on Nickelodeon at that point because most of it was still animated.
The only time I went to start watching Nickelodeon was when all that started.
Yeah.
With Kenan and Kel and them.
See, I didn't watch Kenan.
I watch all that and I watch Kenan and Kel. I love Kenan and Kel.
So the very first couple of seasons of all that I watched, and then I drifted off because at that point I was older.
That's kind of like with me and with like SpongeBob. Like, admittedly, I've never seen like I've never seen more than maybe 5 full episodes of SpongeBob. And I don't know. When I got to that certain age, I just was like,
yeah. SpongeBob wasn't one of mine, but my husband, that is his comfort show.
Yeah, I cannot.
And
what year is he born?
So he's 91.
Man, that's crazy. It's only
he was big on SpongeBob. I mean, even as again, we met when he was 16, I was 18. And at that point we would watch SpongeBob every day.
You were like Powerpuff Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the shit.
What was the other show that was out?
Cow and Chicken, like Courage the Cowardly Dog was my jam.
I told you before, she was Cartoon Network.
And then they had the Gundam stuff on Cartoon Network. Oh, what? That was my life. Like,
but Courage and
Courage.
What was the other one that I liked?
Ed, and Eddie.
Man, I've seen every single episode of Ed, and Eddie. I've seen every single episode of that show.
And that show is mind-numbing as fuck. I love that show.
Right.
Cat Dog. That was Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that was Nickelodeon, yeah.
But again, I was only interacting.
That was like Boomerang or something like that. It was this channel they used to have called, it was Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. But they had like a sub drain called Boomerang where like they showed they're a little bit older. Because Two Stupid Dogs was like right in the middle of like older and like new.
Yeah, because I watched them.
Mm-hmm.
Rocko's Modern Life was on what channel? Was that a Nickelodeon?
That was Nickelodeon, yeah.
That was not a children's show at all. Doug was my jam.
Oh my God. Tell me, the daycare that Cadence goes to, they got like a free movie showing and it's like Shrek 2. And I'm like, that's not a children's movie.
His name is Farquaad. Like,
they're showing Shrek 2 for free for the first like 40 people or something like that. You bring your kids.
That movie is not a children's movie.
Not kids.
No, not at all. If Mike Myers is involved, like, right, no. That is not. Yeah, and we both sitting there like.
And I never seen that movie.
There was one white lady with her 2 kids. And I remember she got the kids and leaving. It was like during a snowstorm too. And we're like, this is not a kid.
And now, if to think about how raunchy mouthed you and I were at that age, and we're sitting there, mouths like jaws dropped. Mm-hmm. Like, are you serious right now? Like, how is this movie like not rated R? Because wasn't it like PG or some shit? How? Who was on the ratings board for this one?
Yeah, that was the stuff that they got away with. Again, what advice would you have for your children or any younger siblings in your family?
Keep it up with the experiences, man. Mm-hmm. Like, experience is everything. You're not going to be sitting on your deathbed thinking about, oh, I got that degree. You're going to be sitting on your deathbed thinking about the times that you had, the places that you went, the people you experienced, how things made you feel. And that's more valuable to you than any piece of paper or certification. That's not to say don't get a job and be a productive member of society, but your experiences are everything. Travel as much as you can, learn as much as you can, learn other languages for American children because English is not all. And not everywhere you go, they're going to speak English. Mm-hmm. Just because it's taught in that country doesn't mean that everybody in that country learns
Speaks it. Yeah.
And you're in their country. You should speak their language.
Speak their language, yeah.
You know?
It's like when you come here, we expect them to speak English.
Which is ridiculous because...
Right. English is... Right. Because English is fucking retarded, honestly.
English is raggedy, but, and the people who were originally from here did not speak that. Mm-hmm. But, you can't get up in arms about somebody from a Spanish-speaking nation coming to your country and not speaking your language. It goes the same when you go to their country. Right, when you go to
their country, right. And you mad because they don't speak English.
Like, right. You mad because they're not going to speak English.
The audacity of Americans.
They be so for real.
It's insane. The audacity of us is insane. There's a reason why
other countries hate us. Right. And that is it.
Yeah, we have like top level like audacity.
Audacity on 1,000 all the time.
Like. Give me 3 items on your bucket list.
The skydiving for sure. Mm-hmm. Got to do something dangerous.
Right. Skydiving.
That's wild. Like, I'm not jumping off the car.
I want to do skydiving, but I would never do bungee jumping though. I feel like somehow bungee jumping is a lot more dangerous.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not doing that.
As opposed to jumping out of a plane.
You only go in one way jumping out of a plane.
Right.
Bungee jumping, you all over the place.
Right.
And if that cord
if that thing break,
it's one thing if it snaps on your way down. But when it snaps all the way up, nah.
You're in the sky a little longer. You're flying. You don't know where you're going to. Nah, it's crazy.
Because you already going up, down, up, back, up, and like you had time to reevaluate your life. Nah. At least skydiving is like you jump out, adrenaline starts rushing immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So for most of the time you up there, reason is not in your face. Once you bungee, it's like, oh, you've had time to think like, damn, if I go back up, am I coming back down safely? Mm-hmm. How do you stop bungee jumping?
You
just keep flopping until it stops?
Yeah.
Nah. That's a lot of trust. I can't do that.
Right, yeah. That's too much bouncing, too much swaying. I don't know what's...
Too much is left to chance with bungee jumping.
Yeah. So skydiving... it was...
exploring Africa.
Going to Africa.
You know? And then I don't think I gave a third answer because I just be in shit. Stuff just happens.
You just be doing stuff. It's
just like, oh, you know what? I want to ride a camel today. Where is the nearest camel?
Right.
Like, you know,
where's the nearest camel?
I'm dead serious. Like,
right. We're gonna let's see. I said, what's a song or songs that always make you move?
Remember the Time by Michael Jackson. That's got to be number one because that's the one that's been most effective for the longest amount of time. Running Up Freestyle by Megan Thee Stallion. Listen to it. It's a great song.
What you said it's called?
Running Up Freestyle. Running up them bands trying to ball till I fall. If I'm with your daddy, then you know we at the mall. Sorry. Somebody's daddy, right? I love it. Every time I hear her mention it in a song, it just gives me a tingle. So many good ones. Just
No hands.
No hands.
Oh, right. It was No Hands, right.
No hands.
Waka Flocka. That was a staple.
Whip Appeal, bro.
Whip Appeal, Babyface.
Can't sit still. Me and the Broom Bee.
Let's see. And I said a song that you dislike, and you said
Loving You Long Time, Mariah Carey.
So I do know that song.
She does.
You went to go listen to it?
No, what happened was I just Googled it. It's on that album, E=MC². I love that album. And as soon as I saw this, I was...
Loving You Long Time? I gotta listen to it.
You gotta play it. Come on, just go ahead and play it, because everybody needs
maybe a 2-second clip.
I'm not playing that on my phone, because if it ends up in my rotation...
I'll listen to it after.
No.
Look, I do know that song.
That can't end up in my rotation. I'm sorry. I can't take that risk.
I love that album.
Algorithm is algorithm right now. So I can't take the risk. Sorry.
I mean, it's not the greatest song. It's not one of the best songs.
It's the worst on all the albums ever made by anybody.
This was a really good one, which was what was something you would do right now if money didn't exist?
Oh, my Eco Village. Yes.
Can you explain that again?
Gotta do it.
I thought it was really good.
So, an Eco Village, there's just so many formats, but the format in which I would want to do it is basically buying like an existing motel would be ideal. Because you have a lot of living structures. They're easily convertible into single living units or even family units if you combine. Most of them have like a door between the rooms, you know, so if you need multiple bedrooms or things like that, you can make that happen. And then a lot of ground cover, so parking lots and things like that already exist on the structure that you can dig up and use for gardening or use for a solar array that helps to power the facility. Now, personally, I'd put the solar on the roof because that's an easy expanse. And then again, you get to use that ground land for various things, growing food. Everybody who lives in the community has to dedicate an hour or something to the community gardening. You can have your own plots, things like that. And the idea is just sustainability. How are we going to persist on this planet doing the things that we're doing to it now.
I mean,
polluting the water, mining all the stuff out of the ground, using slave labor to mine the stuff out of the ground. You know, when there were societies that existed that lived off the land the way the land was, they cultivated crops based on how they just grew in that area. They utilized the natural plants that grew in these places. There are no fruit trees in the average American city unless they're in somebody's private yard. But fruit trees could just grow on the street. Who would be hungry if you could just walk up and pick and keep it walking?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So would you agree that money is the root of all evil?
Money is just a tool. And tools can be used for good or evil.
Okay. I think it is. I wouldn't say it's the root of, no, I do think it's the root of evil. I think this is one of the worst creations that humans created. We could have did anything in the world. We could have chose any type of life, any type of decisions. We decided to create taxes.
Stay in our caves, smoke up and vibe. Like, taxes is crazy.
We decided to create taxes instead. Like,
and 5-day work weeks.
Right. And originally it was 6 days.
That's crazy.
And then someone, 100 years ago recently or something like that, changed it to 5 days. We need to move this shit down to no days, really. But
what are we working for? Everything that we need is right here on this planet already.
There's literally nothing that exists because money exists. Like, the materials, all of this stuff, it just exists because it exists. Like, I don't need money to actually.
See, now the concept of money though makes a lot of sense because I've got a cow, you've got a goat. Who's to say my cow is worth your goat? So trying to standardize the value of things, there's nothing wrong with that. There is a set price for, there's a set worth.
But that's why people trade it though, right?
Yes, but that was also very arbitrary because she might think my one goat is worth her one cow, but you might think, well, bitch, my goat's is premium goats.
But
you're
that's
gonna
not
have
her
to give
business. She gotta worry about
3-4 cows.
Her one goats and be hungry over there.
But now we live in a town of people. And Jim Bob over there came to her and said, oh, well, he gave her 4 cows for that one goat. And now she hit my face talk about you ripped me off. Nah. So you establish, okay, this little piece of paper is worth two goats are worth this little piece of paper. Fair enough that we were trying to standardize a way to agree on what things are worth.
So it's not money is the issue. It's the value we put on kind of like things.
Right. Materialism is the root of all evil because once you are more concerned with the things than the well-being of the community's access and their access to the things, that's when things start going awry.
All right. So, I said, if you could have any superpower, what would be your superpower?
Yeah, I want to be able to turn myself into water. Water can go literally anywhere. And we did discuss being able to turn the things that I touch into water as well. So when I rob that bank, all them notes going to drip out that bank with me. We just going to evaporate into the air. Again, you talking crazy to me, I'm gonna make you choke. Just
get that water out.
Right, like 70%. That's mine. Thank you. Like, why are you speaking to me crazy? Or I could just drown you where you stand. Like,
right, yeah.
But not just for violence. Again, for healing. Even in the little recent take that Netflix did on Avatar, like the waterbenders were healers.
Right.
So it's not all bad. I'll flush out whatever's in your blood if you got some craziness going on. But don't think that I won't choke your ass.
Right.
With that same blood. You're welcome.
Yeah,
you can't never talk to me crazy again because
you gotta do at least something evil.
Not something evil.
Listen, I'm gonna do good later.
I might not be a villain per se, but I ain't no hero.
If I had superpowers, my superpower would be I would always want to fly. I always wanted to fly, like on my own, like that's my like childhood like dream. If I could just get superpowers right now, it would be number 1 to be to fly, and 2 would be firepower. Because come on, it's fire. I've always been a pyro maniac.
Yes,
right.
The fucking aerosol can.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you could just like snap your fingers and you don't even need a can or a lighter, just
right.
Again, what could you say?
That's why I got the the flame alchemist drink from Full Metal. That's my shit. Like I love fire.
For sure, and mine is mind control and shapeshifting. I'm telling you, I'm causing chaos first.
You're gonna be walking around like a giant giraffe, just fucking shit
right,
up.
and I'm going down and like, all right. I'm gonna help other people out. Do this good. But first, I'm ready to fuck some shit up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get in some banks, fly up out of there, Well, if we could talk, since we brought up Avatar, I would be like an airbender and a firebender if I could be more than one, basically.
Yeah, shapeshifter, you find that 1-inch person on their way, walk right into that bank. Just withdraw this for me.
Retina scan, everything done. Like
right, just empty their bank accounts.
My bank account now. Right. I am the captain now.
And then, what is your real life superpower?
Just my ability to analyze my way out of any situation. I mean, being a creative, like you just don't see the world the same as, somebody who is just an analytical person. But having that balance between both, man. Sometimes I think of shit and I'll be like, damn, that was crazy. Let's do it. Like,
yeah.
That's the way out, I'm never stuck. I'm just figuring it out.
So we did figure it out. All right, and these are the last two. Which the first one, of course, is what do you want to be remembered for?
Again, the quality of my friendship. Like, I'm gonna love you so hard. I will do anything for you. I will be there if you need it. Hell, I mean, every skill that I have is at your disposal. Every resource that I have is at your disposal. And again, like, I feel like I am an amazing person. I bring a lot to the table when it comes to the people that, I feel are worth my effort. And again, like I said, if you ever feel like I wronged you, it's because you didn't come talk to me to understand what was going on. Because I very much do operate from a pure-hearted place. I'm never setting out to hurt somebody. I can be very petty, though. I will say that. I can be very petty, but I also know that there's a limit to how petty that I need to be before I've crossed into
that's good
get my lip back and hurting you.
Yeah, I don't know that limit. Once I get there, that's it.
Oh yeah,
it's going
take down. It to you going low, I'm going to hell, and I can be that way. But if it's somebody that I genuinely care about, I would.
Oh yeah. It's somebody I genuinely care about. I usually don't even bother. I just let it rock.
No. The only person that I really be on some get back shit with is really my husband. I feel so bad for him sometimes. I really be putting my man through it. I love him to death. I really be putting the laptop. Yes. Speaking of which, I have it with me because it makes me use the verification code to sign in to EA. So.
Oh, I haven't gotten.
Because I haven't requested it. He was like, it said verification code, and I was like, oh man, I gotta make contact at 2:00 in the morning. I can't do that now.
Oh, you know,
right. Exactly. So that's why it hasn't gotten done.
7-second sleeper over there.
Right.
Should be gone.
I was surprised she was still awake when I got here.
Right. Well, that's because the kids just went to sleep. Well, Cadence just went to sleep. And the last question, of course, is what do you think is the best thing that's happened to you so far?
My daughter. Again, just that learning to be unselfish and learning that it's bigger than me, as egotistical as I can be. I know I'm a lot. And I intentionally dedicate a lot of my mental energy to myself. But having this other person just really kind of brought me out of my head and made me realize like it's so much bigger than you. Even wanting to do this eco village thing, that's not just for me and because it's something that I'm interested in. It's because it's going to make the world a better place for her. It's going to be an inspiration to her. It's going to be an investment in the type of future that her and kids in her generation can have. A lot of millennial parents, the ones of us that actually had the ability to become parents and sustain children, have moved to a more off-grid focused lifestyle because we know that there has to be something left for these kids, and we are rapidly draining this world's resources in a way that's just not sustainable.
Plus, we started from the bottom. We started with nothing. Mm-hmm. We were given nothing.
She should absolutely have more than that. What's the purpose of having children?
Absolutely nothing. And it's like for our kids, it's like, no, this is not working for us still as adults going into our middle ages. We're still struggling middle age. But it's like it the kids, nah.
It can't be like that for them.
We're gonna leave you something. If it's not much,
something.
At least it's something.
If I can't leave you a house, I'll at least leave you with skills that you can utilize, so that if all of this crumbles down today and society ends as we know it, and you somehow survive it, what are you going to do? You don't have to start from scratch and figure out how to rub sticks together to make fire. I'm going to make sure you've already got a pack with books in there, and while you're here with me, I'm going to go through those books with you and help you learn and experience, so that you can have better than I had, And if it doesn't all go to shit, well, I'm also setting you up financially so you can operate in this world and in this society as freely as possible.
Right.
I
don't know if this was caught before the recording got cut, but like I said, yeah, it is everything we do now. Like, sometimes I get super passionate about the idea of making a better life for our children. And, I talk and tell Kaleem all the time, like, we just deserve so much more than this. Like, this can't be life. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my life right now. I'm very happy. If, let's say, the podcast never comes out, I actually plan on trying to also do some like stand-up comedy as well. If none of that ever pans out and this is our life, I'm perfectly happy with that. This is my life. This is my wife. These are my kids, whatever. But I want to at least try. I have to at least try because they don't deserve to struggle like we did. Right. I grew up in foster care with no family. I grew up basically by myself since I was like at least 12. When me and my sister got split, you could kind of say 9, but once me and my sister got split when I was 12, I was on my own. And I never want them to go through anything even remotely close to what I've been through. So yeah, I'm trying to, like you said, if I can't at least leave my house, I want to give them enough knowledge and enough resources or enough anything for them to be like, you know what, my dad showed me the way to go beyond and do more for myself, because
not just survive.
Yeah,
yeah.
I always wanted the one thing to change for them that we didn't have was a separate household. We went through our entire lives with a separate household, separate parents, whether your one parent was there and the other one wasn't, or I had both my parents, but did not get along even for the sake of me, kind of thing. I just I never wanted that for any of my kids. I wanted them to be able to see what life was like having both parents.
Right.
Because we did not have that. I don't even know, like, it's funny when you say that's like white people shit. And they do it and they stick, they go, oh, we stay together for the kids.
You was talking about that part got cut off, but you was talking about the part where he was like, if you were to go to Africa and I asked you.
Oh, the safari, yeah, that's
going to safari.
It's white people shit, but I definitely would do it.
Yeah, and I'm like, you see, and they're like, oh, that's white people shit, but they'll stay together or blah. And it's like, but when you stop and you think about it, we didn't have that. And then it's like now, we have kids, and it's like they should be able to see what it's like to not have to struggle on their own with whatever they have going on, whether they have kids or they don't. Because even I think, especially for our generation, and it makes me laugh when I think about this, because mommy made a comment where she was like, yeah, y'all generation, boy, y'all so entitled. And my face was like,
what?
Entitled to what?
Entitled?
What? Like, it was, you left me nothing. Yeah. It was just one of those, we were entitled to have both of our parents, and not just both, but them not being at war with each other and hating each other and watching. I remember the stupidity that I would see my parents do to each other, back and forth for court and all kinds of stupid stuff. And it was just like, my kids deserve better. Right. And in search of that, I tried and tried and tried. I never stopped trying because it was like, they deserve that. They deserve, my two oldest children deserve to be figuring out the beginning stages of their adulthood with a place to live. Right. At least.
And without the added drama of, oh, my parents don't get along. The funny part about that is for example, you have experiences where there are other parents. And there were times when it was difficult and it came down to custody related bullshit and whatever. But ultimately, it comes down to cooperating for these children. I think what was important for me, at least, was even in a scenario where, let's say, Trevor and I were not together, my intention was always to cooperate. You know what I'm saying?
I don't bother you, you don't bother me, but when it comes
we're gonna do whatever is the best for the kid.
Right, I'm good. And then when you go on about your business. Right. Leave me the hell alone.
Whatever you got going on in your life ain't my business as long as it's not affecting our child. It's that simple. And when it is affecting our child, let's talk about it like adults. Let's solve the problems like adults. We don't have to be on no rah-rah shit. And I think what's crazy is that
you watch the drama.
So many people have only witnessed that drama that they don't even think that co-parenting format for the benefit of the child would even work. And that, to me,
that's crazy.
Because then that staying together for the kids thing, that creates a whole different type of environment that can do just as much damage to the kids. Because if y'all hate each other, y'all gonna just hate each other in each other's faces. Yelling and screaming at each other while your child is sitting there. That has an emotional and physical impact on them too. So I think more than anything, relationship status needs to come out of it. It is we have this child together. We need to do everything in the best interest of this child. And that means not beefing with each other. I could text you, I hate you on the side. But in this family group chat, we are the best of fucking friends.
Yeah, I think about that. And it's like, it's so many things that we all sit around now, and our generation is just like, our entire existence is doing the complete opposite of what was done to or for us. The complete opposite. And then to turn around and then they want to know why we feel like we entitled. We are tired.
Right.
And we want our due.
You grew up in your house with your two parents because it was unacceptable to do anything else. So you don't understand what it's like to grow up in these split households. Yep. You don't have the experience to tell me that I'm entitled. And not to mention, you grew up in the glory days of this country.
Right. Our parents grew up with both parents in the household, but they
were like kind of forced in a sense.
40, 50, 60, 70 years. And had 15 kids.
Right.
They were asking, go back through and think about your family's experience. Was your grandmother an angry person? Did she have beef with your parent or whatever? Was your grandfather raping your grandmother? Because think about it.
Like I said, some of them were forced to stay together for that long.
I didn't have any other choice. I couldn't get a credit card. I couldn't sign on a house. I couldn't do anything without being tethered to a woman. So
that was the man and wife conversation we had the other day.
He basically owned that woman. She didn't have any other option. Once you have kids, you definitely stuck. And he's entitled to your body as he sees fit. So whether you want it or not, he's coming to get the kids. That's how it was back then. There are plenty of women who have had all of these children by choice, but there were many, many more who had all of these children by choice. So now you're raising a generation of children that you basically hate or don't want. At that, that's gonna have a psychological impact. Now those children who grew up in that environment are running from that, so they're thinking, well, if I'm not happy, I'm not staying. And now you're at a point where you don't have to, because you can get your own credit card, you can get your own place, you can work, you can do this, you can have all this access in the world now. So it almost is like you guys have this sense of entitlement that you don't even know you have, and you're surprised that I do too.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all fucked up the system. It was supposed
completely.
to stay everybody else and everybody together. But y'all was letting stupid shit drive it.
And then here we are, like,
We
we're
gotta pick up the
outwardly
pieces
saying,
for our kids.
right, and then we're outwardly saying that was stupid. I'm not doing that, and you looking at us go, "Oh, the disrespectful generation."
They don't care about anything. They don't care about tradition. I don't care about perpetuating dead people's bullshit.
Yes,
it's time to move on.
right. And then they turn around and our kids, and they're like, "Oh, you have no control over your kid." No, I just taught my children that they deserve respect
and an opinion.
and they have an opinion as long as they give it respectfully. They have opinions. We're not silent. We just
Right.
Why you gonna ask me? Why would I ask my child's opinion? Why wouldn't I? If she is old enough to speak and coherent enough to make choices, she makes choices without me all the time. She spends the majority of her day away from me. Every moment of the day that we are not together, she's still making choices. So why all of a sudden wouldn't I respect that? Of course, there are going to be times when you have to be the parent and you listen, this is the way it's going. But for the most part, she's involved. We have discussions about things. Something is going to change. I talk to her about it too. You know, I had a job offer on the table that was going to require us to move away. And I spoke to her about it, and she said, I don't want to leave. You know, I had my friends here. I like my school. I don't want to go. I don't know anything about it. That had to be factored in because it affects her. She's part of this family too.
Yeah, that's stuff that we ain't get. That's stuff we ain't get as a kid. It was we out.
She gave us an option when it came to whether or not she was gonna have that son. And I vehemently vetoed that shit.
I remember that. I was with it, but I'm always with it. I roll with shit. That's good. I roll with anything. So she was like, she wanted to have. I remember that because she wanted to have a boy so bad, and I was like, okay. Hell,
who wanted to have a son?
Yeah, it wasn't one that she wanted a boy so bad.
So when was this?
I don't even remember that. We were still in Parkchester.
So I couldn't have been any older than 9. And hell no, you're not about to make me no middle child. I'm already a middle child with an anonymous fucking kid.
Here I go. I'm down, sure. That's what you want. I don't get.
And they gonna bring a boy in my house?
Not a boy in my house.
Like we barely walk around in this motherfucker with clothes on anyway. Now I gotta cover up for
y'all did.
How about me?
Right, you know how I be.
Right.
I be nude. I'm like, damn. With her now, I'm like, damn. Now I gotta start putting on fucking clothes because we so used to boys and.
Right, you know my boys have no sense of boundaries even now.
Everybody in my house either came in or came from it. So
right, so
I need to cover it.
right, like. But yeah, that's once again, that's it. That's all we got. um Man, I really do wish that cause no, obviously both was good, both takes. The original part that had got cut, so amazing. But this was just as amazing, honestly. I do of course want to thank my guest, Azure, for coming, taking time out of her busy schedule to do this with us today. My wife, of course, Kalima, is in the background. You will hear her throughout this. I did check that, so they do hear you. And yeah, like I said, do all the things you guys do, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And we'll just see you on the next one. Peace.